When it comes to injuries, we're still evaluating the two guys that got injured in the game yesterday, Braylon and Michael Carter. And for some of the injuries that happened before that during the week of guys getting back, still trying to get an update on that, and I'll know something about that pretty soon. When it comes to the game yesterday, nothing changes from the way that I think. Disappointed in the way that we played. But, man, there are some encouraging things that happened in that game. If you told me that we would rush for almost 200 yards on offense, if you told me that Justin Fields would pass for almost 230 yards at 70-some%, I would have told you that we won that game, all right? But we didn't. We didn't. And there's a number of reasons why we didn't win that game. And to me, I want to focus on the how more than the why. And there are some things that we know that we have to do to clean those things up. And one, and most important, is the turnovers. Like, we cannot turn over the ball and expect to win those games. And those are things that we have to fix. And there's a number of ways we can fix those things. And the one thing we have to do defensively is we have to continue to emphasize taking the ball away. We have to continue to, in practice, every time the ball's in the air, we have to attack the ball. Every time the runner has the ball, we have to go for the punch out while still trying to make the tackle. Offensively, our scout team has to punch the ball out of our guys all the time. And we have to continue to get better at that. But we clean those things up. Listen, I think we'll be happy about the direction that we're going. So, again, there are a number of things we can look at when it comes to the reason we lost. But that's the thing, for the most point, when you look at it, is the key that we lost that game. So, any questions?
Aaron, after the game, Sauce had mentioned, that the officials played a role in it too, that there were some calls that he thought were kind of shaky. When you look back at it, were there some calls you think, you might want to bring up to the league?
Yeah, that's every week when you really think about it. There's always calls that we look at that we want to bring to the league and get clarification on why it wasn't called, what are the refs looking at. But here's what I do know. Man, you have to earn the right to get a lot of these calls, for the most part. And we just have to continue playing. There's a number of calls in that game I felt that didn't go our way, that I felt we should have gotten. And, I could easily go through those, but I'm not. But I do know this, that we had a good amount of penalties on our end that we have to clean up. And again, man, we're talking about a team that had 2 years of leading the league in penalties. And we're still trying to clean those things up, as we go. So, but I don't want to put it all on that. I just want to talk about that in-house and make sure we do everything we can to clean those up.
As a coach, how do you balance that? Because clearly there's some frustration, right? You want these guys, why are you making that mistake? But you, like you mentioned, 2 years in a row that these guys, how do you balance that?
Well, it goes back to what I said. It's sometimes you got to stop asking why and start talking about how, and start having solutions for some of those things. I don't want to put those solutions out, because I want to keep those solutions in the house between our guys. And I know exactly what we're going to do to try to help on some of those things. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for us moving forward when it comes to that. So, but listen, every day we got to continue to work on those things. I'm talking about the pre-snap penalties and the post-snap penalties. And listen, Sauce said his piece, and listen, I'm not going to question what he has to say about that, but I do know this. Man, we have to put ourselves in position to start getting those calls. And yes, there's the number of calls that we're going to send to the league, but we always do, just to make sure we get clarification.
You mentioned you wanted to see the film of Justin. Now that you've seen it, what did you think in his first game back after the concussion?
I thought he played pretty well. Getting a chance to watch it, and I watched it a couple of times last night. I think he spun the ball real as far as getting the ball to the receivers. We had 9 explosive plays within that game, which we looked to get about 8 every game, and he was a huge part of that with his arm and with his legs. And man, we want to build off that, because now when you look at it, the 3 games that he's played in, man, he's had 2 games where he was really, really solid. And we want to build on those things. So I'm encouraged by that. I really am. I'm encouraged by our run game. I thought that went really well. I thought Brees did a hell of a job of toting the pill. Another thing that we talked about earlier in the week is getting Mason involved. And I thought Justin did a really good job of getting Mason involved in the passing game also. So there were some things that we continue to build on.
Aaron, how did you feel about the way the defense played, and especially the things you stressed last week about tackling?
Yeah, I think that's an ongoing process when it comes to tackling. But when you take a look at defensively, man, they were putting some bad spots, and you can't put your defense in those spots when it comes to the turnovers. But still, the name of defense is limiting points, and the thing that we have to be able to do is limit points. And when they do get those turnovers, they get them in our territory, man, we got to force them to kick field goals and not give them touchdowns. And I think we gave them touchdowns in those situations. So, listen, I know it's tough, for a defense to be put in that situation, but, we have to live for those moments and, continue to work on the things we got to work on to get better in those situations.
Tua and their line do so well that, kept you guys from really getting to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you asking me that?
Yeah. What did they do so well?
You know what? He does a really good job. And you see this all over the tape, so it's nothing new. I mean, he does a really good job of getting the ball out of his hands and throwing on rhythm. And the one thing you have to try to do as much as possible is get him off of rhythm, make him, hitch and be able to try to look around for his second and third option. And we did that on a number of occasions. The fact of the matter is, when we have to finish the play, I think we had him in our grasp a couple of times when he did hitch the ball. Thing is, we have to finish those plays.
Aaron, Isaiah Williams, 2 pretty critical mistakes last night. Will you consider making a change at returner, or is his job safe right now?
You know what? I don't want to get into that, right now. The thing is, we brought him in to be our returner. Listen, he made 2 critical mistakes, and I understand that. But there are also mistakes that we have to learn from, So I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to lose his job over that. Listen, he has to get better. I do know that. And those things can't happen again. But we're going to continue to look at that and try to teach them and get them focused on doing the right things for us.
Take a couple more.
Are you hopeful that you'll have Jermaine back this week?
Say it again.
Are you hopeful that you'll have Jermaine Johnson back this week?
Absolutely, with a number of other guys. Jermaine Johnson is a key cog to what we try to do on defense. So he can get back. We can get Kane back. Obviously, try to get Brownlee back going and see where he's at. Man, we look forward to getting all those guys back.
Aaron, on a positive note, with Folk, was that impressive to see him kick that field goal? I mean, 40-year-old guy booting it.
Yeah, very impressive. But I tell you what, before the game, he said that he felt like he had that type of range in his repertoire for that game. So I mean, it's good to see him feel like that and be able to make that kick. I think it was like 58 yards. So. And I think he actually room, for maybe a 61, 62-yarder. So it was good to see that from him.
I know, Aaron, you said you don't have the full injury information yet. Any indication, is Braylon Allen, is that a serious injury? Like, are you evaluating that in terms of week to week or what?
I wish I had an answer for that right now. I really don't know how serious it is. I promise you I'll get that to you, as soon as I get that information. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it's not, but we'll see.
And Michael Carter, is he in the concussion protocol?
Concussion protocol, yeah. We'll see exactly where he's at. With it being a short week, that's tough.